Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. As many of you know, Christian Firth, who's one of the founders of the staffing firm GC Strategies, was summoned to committee on December 5th. He never confirmed and ended up declining the summons due to, quote, mental health concerns, end quote.
Another witness, Vaughn Brennan, was summoned and confirmed that he would attend a committee meeting today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the last minute, the meeting was cancelled as Vaughn failed to appear, exactly 1 week later to the day that Christian Firth failed to appear himself.
You all know who Christian Firth is by now, and if you don't, please check out our Running Arrive Scam playlist entitled Scammed on Arrival to get up to date. So, the question remains, who is Vaughn Brennan?
Well, if you ask Christian Firth, this is what he would say.
Can you tell me about who Mr. Vaughn Brennan is to you and what relationship he has with you?
Mr. Vaughn Brennan, he was one of our consultants we placed on assignment in the last 3 or 4 years. But outside of that, we're not friends. It's not professional. It's purely a professional relationship where he is a consultant and we find him work when he needs it.
If you ask Amir Moore from Bottler AI, this is what he would say.
Was there any other party who was involved in these conversations, in the middle person conversation?
Well, for the pilot, no, it was just Mr. Firth. But for the bigger enterprise software, yes, it was an individual by the name of Vaughn Brennan, who Mr. Firth stated that he rubs shoulder with every ADM in town, and he was brought in as a consultant.
And if you read the original Globe and Mail article again, this is what that would say. Throughout 2019 and 2020, Mr. Firth of GC Strategies pushed to expand adoption of Bottler software across other government departments. He set up meetings for Bottler with the Canada Revenue Agency, Corrections Service Canada, Global Affairs, Shared Services Canada, Transport Canada, Treasury Board, and others in an attempt to have the software approved as a government-wide project available to all public servants. During this outreach, Mr. Firth introduced them to another consultant named Vaughn Brennan, who Mr. Firth said had extensive government connections in Ottawa. Mr. Brennan recommended that they send an email to Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland from Ms. Dutt's email account. Emails show Mr. Brennan sent the draft letter to Mr. Firth, who then sent it to Ms. Dutt. The letter pitched Bottler's product as an option for the federal government to use in implementing its response to C-65, a recently passed government bill that included labor code changes related to sexual harassment. After some back and forth on wording, Mr. Brennan and Ms. Dutt agreed a copy should also be sent to Jeremy Broadhurst, Ms. Freeland's Chief of Staff. Ms. Dutt's email to Ms. Freeland and Mr. Broadhurst was sent on January 27, 2021. The next day, Ms. Dutt received a text message from Mr. Brennan in which he gave the impression that he had insight as to how the email was received inside the Liberal government. Quote, "They are trying to find a home for this opportunity, and there is internal negotiations as to how best to position," end quote, he wrote. Ms. Dutt said she never received an email response from Ms. Freeland or Mr. Broadhurst. Then, in February 1st, 2021, a text to Ms. Dutt and Mr. Firth, Mr. Brennan wrote, quote, "DPMOs reach out to Justice and CBSA. Contact was not able to offer context, but be ready for questions if asked," end quote. Ms. Dutt said Mr. Brennan never told her with whom he was interacting in government. Reached for comment, Mr. Brennan said his references to having inside knowledge were a fabrication. He said he, quote, "fibbed," end quote, in an effort to put pressure on Ms. Dutt to take more action on the file. And finally, if you ask Christian Firth again, on a phone call that was secretly recorded by Bottler AI, this is what he would say with no inhibition, and Fox has yet to hear this.
Cam's going to find out tomorrow the exact move forward plan with CBSA. So they have a massive meeting tomorrow with a lot of people. So Cam's like, this sounds like it's good because nobody ever gives you a meeting with 17 executives to tell you they're not going to move forward, right? Cam called me on hot and heavy telling me to start figuring out procurement. What he said as well, I mean, I can offer you this free of charge. Do you need good? So I've got some very strong, not business architect, PM people that are very good at writing specific, government documents. Like this one guy wrote the business case for shared services for $5 billion. If I can give him to you free of charge, would you like to have him work with you? Vaughan was one. He gets technology. He's super smart, and he's also he rubs shoulders with every ADM in town. And I also already had him contracted to CBSA, so it works out well. So I'll tell him to bill a few days here and there, and then I'll just charge it to CBSA.
Tomorrow, because I know Cam I thought the big meetings were last week on Friday, so now those
This is the one that was called an hour ago. That he just called me and said, "Hey, this is just happening." So.
Wow, do you know who the 17 people are? Like which departments?
So everybody he spoke to me about. So there's a DSO, the CFO, ADM of HR, like a whole bunch of people. So he kind of lists off a whole bunch of people, like head of procurement. He just really was hyper. He's also in his cabin by himself, and his wife let him sit up there. So he's had a few whiskeys. So he was just like, bang, bang, bang. This is great news. Awesome. And that's kind of what he said. And then he just said, "Do you feel that offering some of the people you know to help them be guarantee success?" I said, "Well, I want to be the best person because he knows Vaughan as well." And I just think you've already met him, and he's kind of like a nice personality.
Yeah, we really liked him. He was great. I think it was 15, 20 minutes, but I really liked him when we met him. And I think if they're bringing together so many meetings, I think it's a really good sign for us because I think it just shows that they're actually taking it seriously. They really want to implement change. I don't think it's normal for 17 different stakeholders to come in and make a decision for this kind of pilot, is it?
Well, it's not. I mean, because it does. So, I don't know. To me, again, I think there's genuine interest, like the president wants. So I also think as well is if the president tells you to jump, everybody jumps, right? It's kind of so I think it's like, holy shit, if this guy's interested in it, then it's worth 45 minutes of my time. You know what I mean? So, but no, I think it's good, and I know Vaughan as well. He's super passionate about this sort of stuff, so I know that he just love to be part of it. So even just from a a pro bono sort of like, how can I help you sort of thing, right? So, and then again, he knows the ADM of PSPC very well. He knows all the ADM shit. He just knows a lot of people, right? So, I mean, he goes to supper with the ADMs. So it's more like he'd just be having chats with them and say, "Oh, this is what I'm doing here," and they're like, "Holy fuck," you know what I mean?
So that's Vaughan Brennan, everybody. A mysterious consultant that knows Christian Firth, that knows Cameron McDonald, and seems to, according to Christian, rub shoulders with a bunch of government people. Seems to have an in to Chrystia Freeland's office. But when interviewed by the Globe and Mail, he said, "Oh, no, that was all fake. I was just trying to put pressure on Miss Dutt." But here's the problem with that. Vaughan didn't tell Bottler that. Christian did. So that's not putting pressure on the Bottler folks. Christian was telling them this before. And there's something else interesting. Did you notice, Fox, what he said when he was saying that Vaughan would work for free?
Oh, he'll work for free, but we're going to bill some hours to the CBSA.
Right.
So that's not for free.
Well, and the interesting thing is Bottler ended up paying Vaughan anyway. So my question is based on that phone conversation, did Vaughan double dip?
It's possible.
Did he bill the same hours to CBSA as he billed to Bottler? Because this sounds like to be that one of the mysterious people that GC Strategy said, "Oh yeah, we can get that for you. No problem. You don't have to pay for it." And they ended up paying for it. So this guy seems to be a missing piece here. Now, he suddenly canceled today. We don't know why.
Seems suspicious, though.
But if this guy has the ear of ADMs, of ministers, if he has an in to Chrystia Freeland's office, I wonder if he started to get really scared about the types of questions that he'd be asked in committee. So this is interesting, folks. And I think failing to appear today, I think it made it a whole lot worse.
Well, especially considering it was a summons, was it not?
I believe so.
It was not an optional, would you please come to committee? It was a, you better come to committee.
Well, and even if it wasn't a summons, he'd already confirmed. So he'd agreed to come and then didn't show. So now you have Christian Firth, who's a proven liar.
Well, of course he's a proven liar. He said right in that video that, you know, oh, McDonald's at his cabin.
McDonald has never referred to it as a cottage. It's a chalet.
Oh, no, he doesn't have a cabin. He only has a chalet. He's only ever called it a chalet. If you're willing to lie about something that small and that ridiculous, what else are you lying about?
Right? Absolutely. And Cameron McDonald is a proven liar. And now you have this guy in between them, who Christian Firth is making it seem like this guy is, you know, he's their buddy.
He's well connected as well.
Absolutely. So why else? Like, ask the question, why else would Christian Firth say, hey, I got a guy, he has dinner with all the ADMs, he rubs shoulders with them, he can help you write letters to, you know, get in with these different departments. And think of it out of self-interest for Christian Firth. He wants money, right? So it's in his best interest, because he said to Bottler, oh, well, you know, I'll take a commission if we can get this out to all of the different agencies. So it's in his interest to set this up for success, to try to ensure that the other agencies are buying into the Bottler program. So it's in his interest to hook them up with somebody who can do that. He wouldn't just ask this guy, you know, on a whim, unless he knew that he could do this, and perhaps has done it before in other projects. So no wonder committee wants to talk to this gentleman. And I think he increased the microscope on himself tenfold. Tenfold. He was scheduled for an hour today. My guess is he's going to be summoned back to committee for 2 to 3 hours the next time. Unfortunately, it may have to wait until the new year unless Ogo does something crazy this week. But we find it very interesting. And I think this is going to get a whole lot deeper with Mr. Von Brennan, Cameron McDonald, and Christian Firth of GC Strategies. So stay tuned, folks.
And don't forget to check out Bottler on X. Their link is in our description.